So the question is, right, John, I hear you, but how do I get to that next level? And that's where the shift starts to happen, right? We want to get out of the trap. We want to start making the shift. We want to escape the grind, right? We want to get off that damn transaction treadmill, and you're going to sell better, right? We need a bigger vision, right? Without a vision, the village will perish. Where are we going, right? Step out of survival and step into freedom. And it moves us from a hustling to building, and we know we're building towards something, okay? That's where we just have to make the shift, and the first shift has to happen like that in our minds, okay? And it's the whole thing, right? If you can't see it here, you can never speak it into existence. But listen, there are so many examples, right? Even within this Honey Badger Nation, there are examples after examples after examples of people that just got off the damn transaction treadmill, stopped fighting for survival, and moved in a path towards freedom. But it happened in their mind first. And so, guys, listen, it's all about two things. It's all about getting from where you're at to where you want to go. It's the whole A to B concept. And it's funny that this is on a lateral line here, right? But no, it's probably more like this, right? Uphill, because everything everything that we do worth in our life is always uphill. But B is the destination. Now we have a lot of A and B's along the way, but if you were to zoom out, it's where are we going? But even more importantly, where are we at, right? Where are we at? That's the most important thing. And that's really about evaluating your current reality. Listen, I'm going to say this twice. All progress, all progress begins with telling the truth. Okay. All progress begins with telling the truth. When we start going through the phases and the stages here in a minute, the question you have to constantly ask yourself is, okay, who do I have to become to be able to achieve what I'm wanting to achieve? Because what got me here won't get me there. And also, what rooms do I need to be in? What type of advice, what type of perspectives do I need to be sourcing that I'm looking for? But more importantly, making sure that I'm open and willing to receive this type of information and this type of advice. So, 3 types of people: the interested, the committed, and the obsessed. I'm not saying go out there into the obsessed category, but at a bare minimum, guys, you've got to figure out, even if I'm interested, how do I become committed? And I like to think about this in percentage within the industry. So let's go off in our statistics coming out of 24. I think, what did they report? Close to, we're just going to round numbers just for simplicity's sake. You'll get the understanding. 1.2 agents NAR reported NAR members. I know there's more than that, but 1.2. So let's say the interested are the top 20%, top 220,000 in the industry. Those are 6 figures, right? I mean, if you're interested in this business up to this point, okay, I'm gonna throw a little caveat out there. Up to this point, being interested could get you to 6 figures. But if you wanted to go beyond that and become the 1%ers, you got to be committed. And so 1.2, 1.1, 1.2, committed 1%, that's only 11, 12,000 agents, okay, to be able to get to that point. But if you want to go to the 0.1%, the 11, 1,200 in the United States, you ain't getting there unless you're obsessed. I'm just telling you guys right now. We were obsessed. We were obsessed. And when you become obsessed, there is no balance, right? I like switches and dials when it comes to balance. And it's never around. It's never round. Maybe for you, relationships is a 6. Your obsession with your craft is a 10, and your health is maybe a 4, right? Given the season that you're in your life, you can be full on and balanced to the level of the dial that's stretched to, but it'll never be 10s all the way around. Never will. Never will. And especially never will for the obsessed. So I want you to kind of gauge, where are you at? Are you even interested? Or are you committed? Or are you one of those crazy few that are obsessed? Who are you? What are you? Because you're going to receive different type of information differently as we move through the next couple talking points. And that becomes the path. So listen, guys, if you want real freedom, more time, more money, more control, you can't just work harder, right? You have to stop the surviving. You've already made the shift, but get on the path to build with intention. And it's not found by accident. It's built on a proven path. And this is what I'm going to give you guys. I'm going to take you through that proven path. And this is not like, oh, we think this is the type of thing. No, we lived this and we witnessed this through helping thousands of agents over the last 20 years. And it's like I said, it's probably the most important tool that you can have in your tool belt, because it's a reminder for you, but also the folks that you're helping, right? The agents you're recruiting, that people you're talking to. This is cheat code. You know where they're at, what their next moves are based upon where it is they're wanting to go. So where are you at in this process? Let's start with you. Remember, current reality. Where am I? All progress begins with telling the truth. Where am I? And we already know where we want to go, but where are we? What phase are we in? What stage are we in? So, like I said, this can get a little confusing. There are 3 phases and there are 8 stages. All right. So I'll try to keep up, but just want you to know, as we move from phase to phase to phase, there are stages in between. So first phase, this is the traction phase, right? This is 0 to 6 figures. Okay. 0 to 6 figures. This is all about getting traction. Where you have to focus. Okay. You have to learn how to sell. You have to build basic disciplines, right? Discipline, doing what you know, the necessary required actions, even when you don't want to do it, at a basic level. And you're starting to figure out what works, what's working, what's not working. What do I need to keep doing? What do I need to stop doing? But I at a fundamental level, I need to know how to sell. I need to build basic discipline. And then my enemies that I want to avoid during this phase are just freaking bad habits, right? Not showing up on time, not showing up at all, right? I'm not even worried about my fitness. I'm not trying to be a good human being. I'm not pouring into my relationships. I eat terrible. I drink too much. I may do drugs that I shouldn't be doing. Those things, bad habits, right? Just stay away from bad habits and you can get to 6 figures. Find structure. I always tell folks, agents coming into the business, or if you're in this phase, get on a team that has great structure, great leadership, great core values, great behavior, right? Values plus behavior equals culture. They've got a great culture. They've got great structure. They've got great training. And they're going to help you put a plan in place, right? How many of you guys have gone through Atomic Habits? In the case study there with the workout, right? The group that performed the best, clarity and a plan, right? Clarity and a plan. We got a plan. This presentation is giving you some clarity, but get into an environment that's going to change your habits, that's going to give you structure, that's going to help you build a plan, that's going to help give you basic ability, basic skill set of how to sell. It's going to hold you accountable to be disciplined, and you're going to figure out what works. That's what this phase is. And the stages are, stage 1 and stage 2. There's 2 stages within this phase. It's our solopreneur, right? Your pain points. You don't have clarity. You need clarity. You need some leads. You need some opportunities. You don't have any experience. You're going to gain it. And you need guidance and a mentorship, right? And the X factor here is just environment. Environment is greater than willpower. Environment drives the way you think, the way you feel, the way you behave, and the results you achieve, right? Environment is everything. It's one of my favorite quotes, Nipsey Hussle, right? If you look around, the people in your circle, they don't inspire you. If they don't inspire you, hold you accountable, you don't have a circle, you have a cage, right? Environment matters. If you hang around 10 broke dudes, you're going to be the 11th broke dude. So get into the environment. That's the number one shift you can make that will exponentially change everything in your life. And you already made the shift. You wouldn't be here in the Honey Badger Nation if you didn't make that shift. So understanding the importance of environment on a daily basis. The second stage, it's kind of in that seeker, right? You still don't have quite enough leads. Maybe you're starting to spend money on things that don't work, inconsistent in your income, right? Maybe you still don't have that plan. Confidence is low because you don't even know how to build confidence. And I got to learn how to be a good human. I got to have strong people skills in this, to be able to move out of this stage into the next phase, into the next. Now, listen, collapse time, the shortcut here, right? The shortcut is get on a team, get on a great team. If you're in stage 1 or stage 2, and if you're struggling with how do I find a great team, DM me. Like, I will jump on a call and walk you through the things to look for in a great team to help you through these stages. So stage 2, seeker stage, remember 3 phases, 8 stages: traction, solopreneur, seeker, moves us into the second phase, right? This is all about momentum, right? We've got traction. Now we're going to build some dang momentum, right? We're going to get this train rolling. And this is agent to CEO, guys. This is 6 to 7 figures, right? This is the 6 to 7 figure phase. We're building consistency. We're locking in proven solid routines. Now we're learning how to attract, right? We're becoming attractive. We're not just chasing. And the enemies that we have to avoid is the SOS, right? Shiny object syndrome. We got to stay away from the shiny objects that aren't proven, right? Like, show me the results. Show me the testimonials. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't, right? Words talk, numbers scream. Show me the math, because business is just math. Show me how this is going to help me solve my problem and not create a bigger problem, right? Stay away from lack of direction. And remember, it's not about being busy. It's about being productive. Hopefully y'all understand the difference. If you're not getting results, you're just being busy. If you're getting results, you're being productive. That's the difference, okay? So phase 2, it's all about building momentum. This is the 6 to 7 figure, all right? And you get into kind of this phase, and there's something cool that happens during this phase, and it's going to happen in stages 4 and 5 is kind of where it starts to happen. But in here, you've got consistency, in the revenue. It's not, right? We're still on the real estate roller coaster. Probably don't have enough qualified leads. We can get a bunch of leads. We probably just don't have enough qualified leads. Investing in lead generation, we're making investments in systems that are not working, right? We do it all the time. We're stuck in creating the sale, then service the sale, right? I pedal really fast. I do a really good job of getting a bunch of people. And then I feel like I got to go service them. And then it's like, oh no, my pipeline's dry. Oh, I just closed a bunch of deals. Now I don't have anything, right? We're in that vicious real estate roller coaster. We've all heard whatever different analogies to be able to paint that picture. And it's like, what do I do? What do I do next? Okay. Here's the answer, right? Here's the answer. Just focus on getting motivated sellers, right? This is the jump, because that's the best return on your time in production, is focused on getting listings, motivated seller listings, not just any listings, not like it'd be nice to, no, it's I have to, and focus on those type of opportunities. The next stage, this is where the game starts to change a little bit, right? It really happens in between here and the next stage. So in this phase, there's 3 stages. So this is stage 3, this is stage 4. And our pains is we still don't feel like we have enough leads. I would go the caveat, we don't have enough qualified leads. We feel like we're doing all the work. We still are holding on. We're not letting go. We're lacking the proper systems and processes. Our follow-up is somewhat non-existent, and it happens whenever it may happen. There's no set system or process to our follow-up. And we know we need help. But who do I hire? How do I hire them? How do I pay them? How do I hold them accountable? What do they do? That's kind of our pain points as we start to make this kind of transition in the game. And the thing is, getting those low leveraged activities off your plate, right? You're never getting to 7 figures doing $15, $20 an hour work. The math is impossible to be able to get to that point. We have to focus on high leveraged activities. And that's articulating your value, and being able to get people to agree to do business with you, really around sales and marketing activities at the highest level, right? The administrative, the servicing, the follow-up, the fulfillment, not so much, right? Traffic and conversion is where we're at in this part of the game as we're progressing. But here's where it changes. When we move into stage 5, it's the game changes, the board stays the same. We're stopped playing checkers, now we're playing chess. And the reason is that we need specialized. Playing checkers, everybody can do everything, right? Everybody's a utility player. Nobody's specialized in one certain thing that they're able to do. And so it's bringing on talent, right? Bringing in the right type of talent is so key. And really here, what we want to focus on is our brand presence. What that means is, what is our reputation? Do we have a reputation for doing the right thing? Do we have a reputation for getting results, right? Do we say, can we back up what we say? Can we do it? And so I think that's something to really be thinking about, but it's really hard to go the level that we need to at this point without great people around us. Remember, the game changes at this point. You can't play checkers. You have to play chess when you move into this point. So get to that 7-figure mark. This is the big distinctions that you have to make. Okay, so last phase, man, this is CEO phase. Okay, this is 7 figures and beyond. This is when you're building and unlocking other opportunities. You're either focused on, building an organization. You're unlocking, you're unlocking other business opportunities. You're doing certain other things. And guys, right, you have to focus on hiring talent. Okay, it's not just hiring bodies, right? Anybody with a pulse. It's hiring the right people, specialized. And you're building those foundational systems, and you are protecting your time. The struggle here, right, that you have to fight up against is complacency and contentment. See, I believe you're either growing or you're dying. And that's why, from A to B is always uphill. And, if you're coasting, comfortable, I hate hearing that word, right? Because when I hear comfortable, I know you're not growing. And there's no middle ground. It's binary, either growing or you're dying. When I hear I'm comfortable, I know you're dying. And so the other thing here is ego, right? The other thing here is ego. And remember, it's not about being right, it's about getting to right. That's outcome over ego. And so you have the false confidence of, oh man, I made it. Remember, there's always another level. And remember, there's always somebody there that's dunking on you, just like what we found. Even being as high up in the world as we were, Coldwell Banker was a big deal back then. And we were getting dunked on every day. And so it kept us humble, but that's one of the false confidence is something really, really important to pay attention to. So the final stages up to this point is, like I said, hiring talent, losing talent, knowing that, great agents are going to come and go. Now, the beautiful thing with the brokerage model that we're in is that they might come off your team, but they can stay in your organization. Then you can help them build their dream, whatever that is. Always systems, always improving on systems, making sure that we're spending money on things that actually work. We've got great tracking, great visibility, making sure that conversion for at this point, we've done a great job at being able to acquire opportunities or create a bunch of contacts, leads. So we might have a conversion problem at this point. And then just juggling a lot of tech stack, just a bunch of just stuff. So at this point, it's absolutely critical that you develop leaders. And this is the whole leaders creating leaders type of concept. You need somebody to be a buffer with the sales organization. You need somebody to be a buffer with the operation side of things. You need that integrator type role. You need key people. This is where you've got to really start focusing on building really talented people around you. The next stage 7, as we're progressing out of here, right? It's man, struggling recruiting talent. They don't see value in what we're doing. They always want to talk about our splits, right? You're having that conversation, you're losing top talent, and maybe you're getting sucked back into production, right? That's a pain here. And so the thing to look out for is making sure that our business model is dialed in. Listen, the agent to CEO philosophy is vision, business model, strategy, people. And business model is just really how do we create, deliver, and capture value. That's it. That's really what business model is. And the beautiful thing is that we're trying to put we're trying to put a moat around our business model. The beautiful thing is that we have EXP because it does help us put a moat around our business and our business model. So we're always tweaking. We're really trying to figure this out at the highest level. And then that last stage, and listen, you don't have to have a massive team in doing, hundreds and thousands of transactions. If you built an organization, especially here at EXP, you do have tons of agents. You do have tons of transactions. Okay. But at this point, right, when you get here, it's all about adding value to other people's lives, right? Creating other opportunities for other people when you get to this point. And it's just building a tight team, great talented team, people that you just love being around. It's super important at this stage. So important at this stage. And so listen, building the discipline that builds the life, guys, we don't get to freedom by working harder. We earn it by becoming the person who leads differently, thinks clearly, and executes without excuse. So if your business isn't where you want it to be, then you've got to become a better version of you who can get it there. There are no business problems. There are only leadership problems. And the first rule of leadership is lead by example. So here it is. This is 8 stages. I walked you guys through it. It is the most important tool that you guys can have in your business. It's the most important thing that we ever created. It really walks you through all the stages. I gave you the phases, right? I gave you the traction phase, momentum phase, and the CEO phase. So be able to go back and kind of piece in there in what our focus is, and then what we need to avoid, what is our enemy in those phases, will really help to progress in who you have to become in order to move to that next level. So you can grab a copy of it. You can hit the QR code if you're watching the video here, or you can just go to the number 8 stages.com. The 8 stages, stages.com. And you can download and get a copy of that PDF.